Hey, what is going on, everybody? I hope you guys are having a great start to your week. I already got my work week over off for the next 5 days. I was at that game last night, so I am riding a high right now of just having some fun. It's Thanksgiving weekend. We get a full day of football on Thursday. So yeah, why don't I just go ahead and get into what you guys are here for, my top waiver wire ads of week 12 and also my top 5 streamable defenses. As always, I'm going to start with my top waiver wire targets. We're going to start with the quarterback position. Starting with Taylor Heineke is my top quarterback ad of the week. He's available in 85% of the leagues. He's actually put back-to-back good games. He took it to the Bucks defense, and then this past weekend he took it to the Carolina Panthers defense. He had 206 yards, 3 touchdowns. He did also show that he has that rushing floor, 6 rushes for 29 yards. Now, the way I view Taylor Heineke, he's a streaming quarterback. When the matchup is right, you can play him. So if you are a person that's been streaming quarterbacks this year, maybe you're dealing with, I know, Kyler obviously has been out, but he's also on a bye week right now, so you might have a quarterback on a bye week that you're dealing with. And if you're looking for a streaming option, I wouldn't hesitate to pick up Taylor Heineke to stream him this week until you get your starter back. They're going against the Seattle Seahawks. We just saw what Colt McCoy did to them in Seattle. Still kind of upset about that because that ruined my 3-game parlay I had going on at the end of those and that afternoon slot of games. But yeah, other than that, not to get off track, I think Taylor Heineke's, like I said, he's put back-to-back good games. I don't think he's your answer going for the whole season. I don't know if he's necessarily going to go win you a championship, but if you need a placeholder during a bye week or while somebody returns from an injury or something like that, I would definitely consider Taylor Heineke this week. My running back waiver wire the ad, as you can imagine. Most people probably don't know who this dude is. He's available in 100% of the leagues, to no surprise, but it's Dontrell Hilliard, the running back from the Titans that got a lot of work this past weekend. He had 7 rushes for 35 yards, and he was more involved in the passing game. 8 receptions for 47 yards on 10 targets. As soon as I saw he had 10 targets in the game, that's very interesting. But, obviously this backfield's a little muddied right now. So with Dontrell Hilliard, I would not jump to pick him up and play him. Just to have a bench piece that could potentially be somebody that provides you value out of nowhere going forward. Something I forgot to mention really quick. The Titans today released Adrian Peterson. So Peterson is off the roster, and Hilliard is no longer in the practice squad. He's officially on the active roster. So to me, the fact that they let AP go and they took AP's spot and gave it to this kid, that obviously that shows that they're going to have him involved in their offense. Again, I'm not rushing to play him this week. They are going against the Patriots, so it's going to be a little tougher outing. Plus, they still got Deontay Foreman there. We'll have to see. I think McNichols will be back from a concussion, I think, at some point. So I'm not sure how long he's going to hold this, but if you're looking for running back depth as we get approaching to the playoffs, I wouldn't mind picking him up as a stash player. See how he does this week. See how he does next week, and then all of a sudden, there's every year. Doesn't it seem like there's always a running back nobody really planned on that ends up giving people fantasy value for the last 5 weeks of the year, and then they kind of become a fantasy darling in the off season, kind of maybe like a Mike Davis from last year, and then they get their opportunity the next year, and then that's when they flounder away. But I'm not saying Hiller's going to go out there and get 100 plus yards a game for you, but if you're desperate for running back depth, I would definitely consider adding him to your roster. My wide receiver ad of the week, I'm going with the Marquez Valdes-Scantling, the Packers wide receiver. He's been fantasy relevant before. His biggest problem, though, of course, has been in his career is just being consistent. Not even just talking about, fantasy football, just in real life football. He just needs to put more consistent games together. He's got all the talent in the world. This past weekend, he had the 4 receptions for 123 yards. He had a touchdown on 10 targets. That really popped out to me. Now, they got the Rams this week, but the way I'm viewing it, with Scantling, I kind of viewing him as a wide receiver 3-ish, especially if Alan Lazard, who was out last week, if he's going to be out again this week, I could see the Rams kind of, sticking Jalen Ramsey on Devontae Adams for most of the game. So that's going to open up things for Marcus Valdes-Scantling, and he's probably going to be depended on. So if Lazard's out, you're looking for maybe a wide receiver play this week. I definitely think MVS is one of those guys you could pick off the waivers and definitely consider putting into your lineup as long as Lazard's out. Now, if Lazard is back in, I kind of view him as a bench play. Let's see if he's going to be more consistent for you every week, and then maybe you can move him into your starting lineup. But again, like I keep on harping on over the last couple weeks, like it's depth building time. You have to be you should already know who your starters are that you're going to count on going forward. Now you need those depth pieces because, I mean, trust me, I thought I had a roster that I thought I was going to be walking into a championship. I'd been dealt with a blow with Kyler Murray. I got dealt with a blow with Alvin Kamara. I thought I was about to really start loving some Michael Carter, and I got dealt with his blow this week, and Michael Carter's out for 2 weeks. So again, guys get injured anytime, so you got to be planning for your depth pieces and really think out your bench going forward. And then my tight end ad of the week, I'm not gonna lie, guys, it's a fantasy wasteland in the waiver wire for tight ends. It's really bad. Like the tight end position, once again, it's awful for fantasy. But I didn't even really want to pick him because like he didn't really do much with his targets. But you guys know I like tight ends that get that 7 to 9 target range. But Anthony Ferguson, the Titans tight end, he's available in 95% of the leagues. AJ Brown got hurt this past game. So like other random guys are starting to are having to step up. This guy was a fantasy, sleeper, quote unquote, for some people in the offseason. Not really for me, but with Jeff Swaim out of the lineup because of his concussion, it opened up some opportunity for Ferguson. He's still, I think I think he finished as a tight end in the top 10 for tight ends in fantasy this week. He had 5 receptions for 26 yards, but he had 7 targets. They got the Patriots this week. I mean, I don't know if you're going to pick him up and play him. But I'm telling you guys, like all the tight ends that have more than 50% availability are awful. They're terrible. Like, so I mean, I hope you have your tight end. That's all I can say. I hope you're not listening to me for who does Cody think I should pick up in the tight end group this week, because they stink out there, to say the least. And then, to wrap it up with the flex ad of the week, I'm going with Marquise Goodwin, the Bears wide receiver. He's available in 100% of the leagues right now. He had 4 receptions for 104 yards, a touchdown. He had 8 total targets. They got the Lions on Thanksgiving. That's the first Thanksgiving game. And the way I view with Marquise is, like I keep on saying, you're kind of building your bench. This is more of at least just for this week, type of thing. The way I view Goodwin is Allen Robinson has not practiced this week, and he was out the last game. Okay, so you're taking Allen Robinson out of the picture, and then Justin Fields got hurt. Fields is not going to play on Thursday, so Andy Dalton's starting. So Andy Dalton's been getting all the backup reps, right? So Andy Dalton is more times than not throwing to Marquise Goodwin in the backups, because he's the 3rd or 4th string wide receiver for Chicago. So it showed when Andy Dalton went in, he targeted Marquise Goodwin, and then he ended up hitting him on that one deep bomb touchdown that Marquise scored on. He's got track speed, so he can take a top off a defense any given moment. The Lions defense sucks. Their secondary sucks. So the way I view Goodwin, it's looking like Allen Robinson is going to be ruled out. Man, he might be a sneaky wide receiver 3 this week. I wouldn't go that far. It kind of just depends if you're dealing with bye weeks or injuries or anything like that. So, but if you're looking for depth piece, if you're looking for help this week, I think Goodwin might be a sneaky play on Thanksgiving. So again, my top waiver wire targets for week 12. The quarterback position, Taylor Heineke. The running back position, Dontrell Hilliard. The wide receiver position, Marquez Valdes-Scantling. The tight end position, Anthony Ferguson. And then the flex position is Marquise Goodwin. Now, going ahead and moving into the top 5 streamable defenses. Let's see how I do this week. I think it was a little bit hit and miss last week. I didn't really. I should have checked before I erased it and got going with the script, but. I was at that game last night, so there was a lot of tight timing on things, to say the least, today. But yeah, let me go ahead and get into my top 5 streamable defenses. My number 1 defense, I'm going with the Thanksgiving matchup. We got the Chicago Bears against the Lions. The Chicago Bears are available in 74% of the leagues. Obviously, it's an easy pick when you go against the Lions. It does look like Jared Goff's going to play, but it doesn't matter. Tim Boyle, Jared Goff, whatever, they're both due for a turnover or 2 on any given Sunday, any given Thursday this week. So, yeah, I think the Bears obviously are a good play just because of that reason. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. Spoiler alert, I actually think the Lions are going to win. I'm going to probably bet on them, especially after all the Matt Nagy news that came out today. You guys can go look into that. But yeah, I think, but with that being said, even though I think the Lions are going to pull off the upset, I think it's going to be like a 17-14 boring game to start Thanksgiving, right? So, and like I always say, the quarterbacks there in Detroit, they're good for a turnover or two, so I'm willing to bet on that. So my number 2 streamable defense of the week, I'm going to ride the hot hand of the Eagles. They've been a really good fantasy defense for people over the last couple of weeks. They're available in 81% of the leagues. They're going against the Giants, and if the Giants look like they did anything last night, it's a team that you want to gamble on. Daniel Jones is a turnover machine. Like, he just is. Like, he's never going to be Danny Dimes unless a miracle happens at this point. And I do kind of see the talent in him and what he could be, but the guy just turns the ball over too much. So, with that being said, he's always, you never know. He could fumble the ball. He could throw a dumb interception like he did last night to that defensive lineman, Steve McClendon. So, yeah, like, that's always good for that. And then look what the Eagles have done, man. They have been forcing turnovers the last couple of weeks. That defense has been playing pretty good. So I'm willing to ride the hot hand of the Eagles right now if I was looking for a streamable defense this week. My number 3 streamable defense, I'm going with the Chargers against the Broncos. LA's defense is available in 63% of the leagues right now. Mainly with this one for me is last time we saw the Broncos, the Eagles, speaking of the Eagles, tying that in there, their defense went off against the Broncos offense. So yeah, why not just try that again and see if that works? I think the Chargers, obviously Joey Bosa, anytime that guy's on the field, he can get you a sack, he can get you a strip fumble, and they also got the playmaker Derwin James in the back. So yeah, I mean, the Chargers defense isn't perfect, it's not as good as it could be, but yeah, I mean, I definitely would consider taking a chance on it just based on what we saw from Denver's offense the last time we saw them. So if you're looking for somebody, I definitely would consider the Chargers. Now these next 2 defenses, I'm not gonna lie, these are probably going to be if you're in a 12 to 14 team plus league. If you're in a 10 team league, you should be able to find some better options than these 2. But yeah, I'm going with the Texans against the Jets. The Texans are available in 97% of the leagues. Obviously, the Jets are like one of those slim pickings where if they were playing any other defense, I probably would have had them up number 1, maybe at least number 2, maybe even number 1, depending on who they were playing. But the Texans defense, they forced some turnovers. They picked off Ryan Tannehill last week 4 times. Now that was a rainy game, so I'm not sure. And the Titans offense is dealing with all type of injuries and stuff like that. But with that being said, the Jets offense is nothing to run home about. Like I just mentioned, Michael Carter's out for the next 2 weeks, so their top back is out. Zach Wilson will be back. So Zach Wilson, the rookie quarterback, is going to be the starting quarterback this week. So you got a rookie quarterback coming in. His first game post-injury, is he going to be rusty? Is he going to make some questionable decisions? That's always up there, which could result in turnovers for you. So, man, if you are super desperate out there on the waivers, you're streaming defenses like I am. Hey, I've done it before with with my bottom 4 and 5 on my list before and picked them up in those leagues, and it's paid off. So I would definitely roll the dice on Houston if you definitely were desperate for a streaming defense this week. And then my other one, I'm going with the Jaguars against the Falcons. Jaguars defense is available in 99% of the leagues. Now their rushing defense, their defensive front is pretty good right now. So with that being said, Atlanta, we saw what happened on Thursday night, right? Last week where the Patriots basically shut them out. Now Jaguars are not the Patriots. Urban Meyer is not Bill Belichick. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm trying to get at with this is the Falcons really don't have anything. It doesn't sound like Calvin. I think Calvin really can't even come back till next week because he's on that one certain list. I forget what it's called. Calvin Ridley's not back. We'll have to see if Cordero Patterson can play or not. I know he has a sprained ankle. Sometimes those are 2-week injuries. I know he wrote it up to game time last week, so maybe he does play this week. But even if he plays, maybe he's less than 100%. So they only got really Kyle Pitts, right? So that offensive line just lets Matt Ryan get abused too. So Josh Allen could probably have a good game. Clavon Chason could have a good game. So I see some sack potential. And then anytime that offensive line is not performing well, Matt Ryan's, he's a statue in the pocket. So like he can't run anywhere. So it's either going to be a sack or it could result in turnover. I actually saw a stat before I hopped on, which was actually pointing out Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones and Matt Ryan are like one of 5 quarterbacks with the most turnovers since 2019. So yeah, Matt Ryan, he's a great quarterback, but he has turned over the ball a lot over the last few years. So yeah, those are my top 5 streamable defenses for week 12. We got the Bears against the Lions, the Eagles against the Giants, the Chargers against the Broncos, the Texans against the Jets, and the Jaguars against the Falcons. So yeah, that's my video for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, hit that like button if you have not yet. If you have not subscribed, we did finally crack 30. I appreciate the follow. I think it was my man Steve Miles, one of my old friends from back in Wisconsin. He hooked me up with a subscriber. So let's get the 40. Let's increments of 10, and then we'll go by 100. So go tell a friend to subscribe. Go tell a friend to check me out. And then little note on my Wednesday show. So normally you guys know I do that on Wednesday nights. Well, since I'm off tomorrow, I'm going to probably get that done sometime in the morning. It'd probably be more around 11 to noon Eastern time when it will come out. So I'm actually gonna get my start sit video out earlier, a lot earlier than normal tomorrow. Actually, probably better for me to do that anyways, because I'm sure Wednesday nights, people are either traveling to go see their family for Thanksgiving, or they're doing Wild Turkey Wednesday. They're going to get drunk with all their friends. So yeah. I'm gonna get that done early tomorrow, and so I'll see you guys then, and peace out, and enjoy your guys' next probably 12 hours till you see me again. So no, a little bit more than that. Check you guys later.